Hey guys, and welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe, I'm joined by Nathan, and today we're going to be doing another one of our manga reviews. So today we're going to be talking about two series that have just recently come out. One called Doron Dororon and another one called Protect Me, Shugomaru. But yeah, let's jump into it. How you doing, Nate? You good?
I am doing well, thank you. Glad to be back in manga reviews. Kind of feels like this is our, I don't want to say bread and butter because we actually don't do that many of them, but you know what I mean? Like,
it's always good to keep I'm always excited to hear your opinions on certain new mangas though. I feel like it's good to sort of get your opinion on see if we think these things will stay alive. Obviously
true.
So many series in Jump come and go, but are these gonna be the one, do we think this is gonna stay? Do we think this is gonna be a one hit? It's interesting. I think we've read enough manga to be I think this will or won't stay, but
well, you say that and then everything I read ends up dying, so we'll see. Apparently I'm not a very good judge of it despite how much manga I've read.
Nathan, just stop reading this series. God damn it. Let it live. Right, okay. Shall we jump into the first one then? Doron Dororon.
Yes.
Okay, so how many chapters is this out? This is about five chapters out of this at the moment?
Time of recording, yes. 5 chapters.
Yeah.
The mangaka is Gen Osuka or Gen Oscar. I don't know yet. Still a Japanese amateur, so I don't know if it's the silent U or not.
Mm-hmm.
He was the mangaka of Golem Hearts, a manga we read quite a while back. Fair few years now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's been a few years since Golem Hearts came out.
That was a decent series. He's pretty decent as a mangaka, because I remember liking Golem Hearts.
I think his art style is really good as well. I do love his.
Oh yeah, his art's amazing. I actually think it's gotten better as well. More refined.
For sure, yeah. But yeah, like you, I did enjoy Golem Hearts when it was around. It was a very short-lived one. That one got cancelled quite quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it had 10. Was it 10 chapters or something?
Nah, it must have been 20. It meant 20 at least, surely.
I don't remember, I just remember it was really short-lived.
I feel like it's usually 20. 20 feels like the minimum. I feel like 20 is after 20, that's the longest you can run before getting cancelled. I feel like, unless it's just been really, really bad. Because I think...
I was going to say, there have been some that have died before 20.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's some that died before 20.
Unlucky.
Yeah, for sure. But...
I think Golem Hearts is one of those ones. It was a very short-lived one. I think he did another series as well, but I don't know how well that did or how long it lasted. The Golem Hearts is the most recent one, other than that.
Yes. Doron Dororon was only published November 29th, 2021.
Yeah.
And basically is about a world where these monsters called Mononoke suddenly appeared and just started killing and eating people.
Yes.
And the policing force for that, quote unquote, I guess you could call it, is they're called samurai. And it's basically turns, I don't want to water it down and generalize, but it basically turns into your typical kind of shonen.
Yeah. So the main character who is Dora Sasaki?
Yeah, Sasaki.
Sasaki, yeah. Okay, I wanted to get a pronunciation down right. But yeah, so he's been wanting to become a samurai for his whole life. He's wanted to do this sort of thing, but he goes for the trial and they're like, nope, you're not cut out for it, basically.
Because you got no spiritual energy. Here you go, guys. Tropes already.
Yeah. So he gets rejected. He's man, I think he still wants to keep trying though, even though he knows that there's no hope for him.
Again, tropes, because that's the shonen protag, innit? He's like, no, I'm still gonna do it because my resolve.
But during as he's sort of going home or whatever, he's I don't know, slacking in his rent because he can't afford it because he wanted to be a samurai and he can't afford it anymore. He bumps into a Mononoke, right?
Yeah, he sees a kid screaming for help. There's no samurai around, so he just jumps into action because shonen protag. Then runs into another Mononoke trying to protect the kid. And this one is, I hate that I can see the tropes nowadays. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because here's the good the one good Mononoke
Mm-hmm.
called Kusanagi, which I predicted it was going to have some sort of sword name.
Yeah, it's always that, isn't it? Yeah.
Because basically, fight ensues, right? Dora takes on this evil one whilst trying to protect Kusanagi. He can't do anything. You can't kill a Mononoke if you don't have spirit, like supernatural energy.
Mm-hmm.
So then Kusanagi turns into a sword,
Mm-hmm.
and then he kills him with Kusanagi.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kusanagi has supernatural energy. But you don't know the name just yet. They kill the big one and then they get to know each other. But because of, at least for me, because I've read so many shonen, like when Dora went for the blood test, I knew they were going to turn around and say, you can't be because you don't have whatever you need, right?
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. I even said it to myself when I was reading it. I was like, for fuck's sake, he's going to have no whatever. I even said, like, it's going to have no, like, spiritual energy or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was exactly that. And then when they were like, so what's your name? And I'm like, it turned into a sword. What? It's going to be like, I don't know. It's going to be like Masamune or something. And then it's like, my name's Kusanagi. And I'm like, oh yeah, another famous sword name. Great. Yeah.
No, I get you. It does take a lot of different tropes from different manga. Like it is your typical shonen. It is your typical shonen, right?
It is, and I don't really want to come across like I'm chatting shit because I would have done I would never have done a better job, right?
Yeah.
I suck at naming things. I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that I was like, I could just see all the writing on the wall before it happened.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're right. There's like a main pro tag with no power, and the sort of like secondary pro tag which will like aid him sort of thing and like gives him that power.
Yeah, exactly. Like his like partner or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's always like, it's like the worlds collide kind of like crossover thing, you know, like unlikely partners from different universes.
It's literally like the whole Naruto like Asta sort of thing. Like, they've got this sort of like thing with them that kind of like the supernatural being that basically helps them out like in the fight, basically.
Well, it was funny because like I actually do like this. I think it's good, right?
Oh yeah, I think like it's one of my new mangas that come out that I actually quite enjoy right now. Like granted, as is like only 5 chapters out right now. Like it's one that I'm actually quite keen to continue reading.
Yeah, same. Like despite everything I've said, I actually like this, and it's because it's simple, and I just like it'll be an easy read.
Yeah, exactly.
But an enjoyable read.
Yeah, they're not like overdoing it with the like right now anyway. They're not overdoing it with like the descriptions of how these powers manifest or whatever.
Yeah,
it's literally just simple. This guy's got this fucking Mononoke that's good. That's different from the rest of the Mononoke. He's using him to fight,
and it's shown straight away that Kusanagi is a shapeshifter. That's it. Like it can just change its shape.
Yeah,
materialize into whatever. It's real simple.
But obviously, because obviously there's that whole wall they gotta get over, because obviously all Mononoke are perceived as evil, whereas this is like Kusanagi is the one Mononoke which is good out of all these.
Yeah.
So they like obviously if he wants to become a samurai, he has to hide the fact that he's got a Mononoke with him, because if the samurai find out, they're gonna be like, oh my god, we've got to kill it. Which kind of leads into this other character that we've got going on right now.
Ginchio Yagyu.
Yes.
She's a mid-tier samurai, but is also like one of the most well-known in the area.
Yeah.
She's also rich as fuck.
Yes. Very money-driven character though as well. Like,
yes.
A lot of like with those sort of characters in other manga, you think, oh yeah, they're doing it for the power. They've got like a revenge plot or whatever. She's just like, nah, I just want money. You don't know how deep that goes. But
she says specifically like it's to further my career, like work for my promotion, right? And okay, granted, only 5 chapters. We don't actually know why she wants to advance so much, besides the fact that she's got some sort of rival. But I also reckon it's because partly it was shown in chapter 5 that she's rich. Her family are the Yagyu Enterprise or whatever corporation or something. Like they're in the world, they own loads of stuff. They're super famous.
Yeah.
I think it's partly also that the character might want to at some point be like, I'm trying to prove myself to family as well, you know, because they're all successful or whatever.
Yeah. There could be that sort of thing where it's like, oh, I want to make it on my own. I don't want your help, like within this sort of thing. I don't like, you never.
Keyword, you're gonna hear it a lot, but trope.
Yep, tropes. It's literally like you can try and guess them at this point, and it probably like some of the stuff we say like it might just fizzle out and not be that, but like a lot of the time it could be. Yeah.
Hey, I hope so. I hope so, man.
Yeah.
I really want this one to carry on.
At the same time, right, although it's like very tropey and it borrows a lot of things from other manga, at the same time, this is the kind of stuff that does sort of well in Jump right now.
Yeah.
Like, think about it, when you look at My Hero and Black Clover, like, originally two series that sort of began very tropey and then evolved into their own thing a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I also can think of a handful of other series I read that are like this, like has a similar premise per se, right?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I was like, oh, that's like when I read Bone Collector or whatever it was called, right?
Oh, yeah.
A kid who was supposed to be an exorcist, but was also rubbish and had no power, essentially, like little to no power. And then all of a sudden, a high-ranking demon from the demon world came over, like the yokai, and then partnered up with him. Same thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like you just said, the most popular one right now, Black Clover, had no power, partnered with a little devil. Now he's the bestest.
I mean, yeah, like it's the same. Like, you can take it from like Naruto as well.
Yeah.
Ninja has no power, accesses Nine-Tailed Fox powers, and there you go.
Again, My Hero as well. You know, he had no quirk. Met All Might got his quirk. Now he's on his way.
I think it's a lot of things in it. Like we could go on and on about different mangas that a powerless pro tag becomes strong because of an external power.
True.
There's loads of them like there.
There's loads of them, but it's just the example that these building blocks have been used by other series, and those other series, some have died, a lot of and some haven't.
Yeah,
some of them are the biggest series right now. So it's like, despite us saying trope, or I guess me, despite pointing all this out and being like, tropey, like you said, like it doesn't matter.
It could make all. The thing is, right now, it's whatever fans think. Oh, this is gonna do well, or they want to stick with it because, like, I don't know, like. Who knows, like, where like certain series would have gone if people thought, nah, this is too tropey, I'm going to leave it, right? Who knows, like, if this is going to be a big success or if it's just going to fizzle out. We'll see in like the next few weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Like how well it performs. But with this sort of series, if it ends up towards the back of the magazine, like in this contents pages, you have a feeling like, okay, it's a big shonen series that is at the back of the magazine, doesn't have any unique selling points about it. More often than not, it probably will get cancelled.
Fair.
That's like I know that's what I've just seen in like typical manga before. But who knows? As I said, like it's very tropey, very typical shonen. Again, not using this as a bad way, like as Nathan said earlier. Like this isn't a bad thing. I'm enjoying the series a lot. It's just like it wouldn't surprise me if something like this did fizzle out. I don't want it to.
Yeah, I don't want it to either, but I see what you mean as well, because again, I've read plenty of new shonen that have these building blocks and didn't last past 20, but I feel like this one could.
I hope so.
Because this one has lots of potential.
Yeah.
They just have to, they just need to find that sort of balance. Because I find most people don't like these kind of series because it's like a lot of monster of the week until they can figure out their big arc.
Yeah.
But by the time they figured out the big arc, it's too late. No one cares.
Yeah. It's like sometimes it's about establishing a villain as well. Like, oh, I want to take down this person or whatever. Right now, it's just a broad Mononoke scale.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, like I was just sitting here trying to figure out the power creep. Because right now Kusanagi turns into a longsword, a katana. But what else could they use? And do samurai only have to use katanas, like swords, or can you use something else? Like, what's the limit there? And like, how do their powers grow?
I hope it's like, because obviously, like, he will eventually join the samurai corps, right? And then, like, I want to see other characters, like, within that samurai, like, universe. Like, what are their other powers? Like, what is, like how strong are they? Like, what are the rankings as well? Like, what's, like, is there, like, a sort of, like, hierarchy sort of thing within it? Like, we assume there is, but obviously we still got to see that right now.
Yeah, only because they've said like, oh yeah, Ginchio is a mid tier, and it's like, okay, yeah, but like, how high up is that?
Yeah.
Obviously, the word mid would infer that she's like somewhere in the middle. But that's again like, yeah, but middle of how many ranks? Like,
yeah, exactly. Is there like a low tier, mid tier, then there's high tier, there's super high tier, ultra high tier? Like in the end, mid tier kind of becomes just a name at some point. It's just
yeah,
like,
exactly. But it's like, is it just mid tier as in like from 1 to 10 and she's like 5? Or is that like, oh, in low tier there's like 10 ranks? Like there's 10
Yeah.
ranks per thing and she's like mid of the mid tier. Do you know what I mean? Like how granular does it get?
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, 5 chapters right now. We've still got a lot of world building to do within it, and hopefully it nails it and there is like another like USP there instead of making it like, oh, here's a typical thing. Like,
Yeah, I don't want to see another one because I normally like these series.
yeah.
These ones that are just sort of like, hey man, this guy just wants to make the world a better place. There's a lot of fighting. I'm simple like that. I just like a lot of fighting, and this would provide it, but not if it doesn't get the chance to.
It has some good comedy moments as well, I'd say. I think there's some points in it where it's like, oh, okay, like I got like a little sense of humor coming through. It's not like all deadly serious.
Yeah,
which I quite like.
I mean, so far for me, it was mostly I didn't find it like funny.
Oh no, it's not like comedy series. It's not like Gintama or anything like that. Like,
it was mostly for me. It was like Ginchio like messing with Dora, like, you're late. It's a test. Haha.
Yeah, it's like sort of like quirky characters. Like this, I don't think there's like sort of like some humor coming through. At least it doesn't feel like it's just all serious. This is the one thing like I feel like I like. Like it's still a bit lighthearted shonen.
Yeah, although it did start pretty heavy because, you know, like Dora was in front of a grave. So it starts pretty heavy.
Yeah, and then there's this like Mononoke eating children and stuff, and
yeah.
But no, shonen what is dark these days. I feel like you have to be like a sort of like a really dark series to be considered dark, like sort of like Chainsaw Man, for example. I don't know if you ever read that at all.
I actually haven't yet.
It's like people love Chainsaw Man. It's one that people absolutely love it. But me personally, I couldn't get completely into it, and it is very heavy, and but it has some weird, really strange, like sort of like I want to say comedy, like dark humor moments as well in it.
Okay.
So I feel like that series is considered dark, I'd say, but like it is like still decent. It's got like amazing art in it. It's got a heavy kind of story. And yeah, check out Chainsaw Man, I guess, if you're like into those sort of more darker series. But yeah,
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to like dark, quote unquote, that's when they go, that's not a shonen anymore. That's a seinen now. You know, we just push it up to the next age group.
Well, that's the thing. It was in Weekly Jump and then got moved, so it's still running, but it's just gone to a different magazine right now. It's still in Shueisha, but not Jump, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it gets too dark for them, they just go, hey, that's that one's not for the shonens, you know, for the 10 to 17s. That's for 17 plus. That's the adult stuff.
Yeah. Arguably, yeah. Can't argue with that. But yeah, in short, Doron, I'd say check it out. I liked it.
Oh, definitely. Give it a look. At the very least, the art's really good.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like the thing is with Golem Hearts as well, the previous series did have some USP in it. It's just a shame it didn't continue. I hope that this is like it's kind of the other way around at this point. It's very tropey. Doesn't seem the most unique manga right now, but it's good. It's still quite good.
Yeah,
I'd say. It's still like consistent. But, yeah, as Nathan said, just check it out. See what you think of it.
Cool. Yeah. So the next series is Protect Me Shugomaru, or Mamore Shugomaru. Penned and, well, I guess written and drawn by Daiki Ihara. Published 22nd of November 2021, so literally a week before Doron Dororon.
Jump had kind of like a small like select like I think they just threw a whole load of manga out, and then like some of them are sticking. Like I think it's like another series as well. I can't remember. I think it's Ayashiman, I think it's called.
Yeah, I actually haven't started reading that one yet.
Yeah, I think that came out like before Shugomaru did.
Well, that's for a different episode.
Exactly. Yeah, but anyway, we're talking about Protect Me Shugomaru, which is a comedy series.
Yes.
Set in high school. I'll let you. You're good at the descriptions, Nathan. I'll let you roll.
Okay, so the main character is Sanagi Ojo. She is an heiress the only heiress to the Ojo conglomerate, which I guess is a big deal in this world. And she's about to go to high school. So they hire her a bodyguard. But Ojo family have always gotten bodyguards from the Teko clan. And that's when we get introduced to 10-year-old Shugomaru Teko, the youngest of 5 brothers. And yeah, after that, pretty much, as soon as he gets in, it's basically comedy ensues.
Yeah, 100%. So his whole shtick, basically, Shugomaru's shtick, is that he's a bodyguard that's so keen on protecting Tsunagi, but he's quite crap at it at the same time, in the fact that he will go over and above to protect her, but he also injures her in the process.
In his own words, is I am so focused on the possibilities and having to protect you that I get tunnel vision.
Yeah. So yeah, like as you said, comedy ensues from this moment. Like there's so many like sort of gags of like, oh no, your food might be poisoned. Let me test it first or whatever. But he hates the food itself.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, here it is, celery, and he's like, but he's 10, so he's like, I don't, sure you don't want to eat like donuts or something? She's like, eat the vegetables.
Yeah, it's yeah, a lot of good comedy moments in this as well. But my first impressions on this, right, is that it's a bit of a slog to get through, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love like a lot of comedy series in Jump. I think there's some that I've stuck with. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Like, you know me, I like Gintama, I like Bobobo, like I liked all like Psyche as well. Like all the big comedy series, I absolutely loved them. So this is like Jump's newest one, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's really hard to get into. I don't know how you felt about it.
I agree with you in that, like, for me, I've compared this to the next closest thing that I've enjoyed, and that's Witch Watch.
Okay, yeah.
But whereas I am excited to read Witch Watch, this I felt sort of was like, okay, I get it. You know, like, I don't know, I just, I don't have the enthusiasm for this one.
I really didn't either, yeah.
But I do like the character.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, I like the characters, but I just, right now, I don't enjoy it, because I'm just sort of like, okay, yeah, well, she's getting targeted by this unseen antagonist, Skull, the assassin, which in itself right now, they keep teasing that Skull is not a person, right? They basically caught someone, got a card, and then it said S-Call on it. And they were like, oh, wait, S-Call, Skal. And then they were like, oh, okay, cool. So it's an organization. And so far, you just see a bunch of shadowy figures like, how is it going? Yes, the groundwork is being laid down. It's going fine. Very good work.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we've seen so far.
It is a lot. I think, what was it? Like, there's certain enemies that appear up in each chapter. And they're like, oh my God, it's Skull. And then it turns out to be like, oh no, I was from a different assassin faction. Or no, I'm not an assassin. I just happen to do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, or I have this history with this character. And it's like, oh, so you're not Skull. Okay, then. And then, like, there's certain, like, gags or, like, the whole shtick of Shugomaru is like, oh, he's so, like, he's got the tunnel vision on protecting Tsunagi and everything.
Yeah, but it's also, like, you got some backstory to why he wants to protect her so much as well.
Oh, yeah.
And like that I like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it broadens the character a little more than just this kid who has all these weird gadgets.
Yeah. So the backstory is like that, like when they were younger, like they met each other and she was like, oh, I hope you can protect me in the future or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm living up to what I promised you before. I'm going to protect you. And that's the whole backstory, basically. It's not like a whole in-depth thing, but as you said, it does broaden the character a little bit more. It does give him the motivation. It does have a goal.
Well, I mean, it's better than Tsunagi Ojo's like motivation, which is just early Bulma, like, I just want a boyfriend. Yeah,
that's she just wants like a kind of like normal high school life. She wants to be popular. She wants to get a boyfriend. Her main goal is, I want to get a boyfriend. But obviously, with Shugomaru around, it's almost impossible.
That's the only funny part to me, really. Like, is that he will consistently ruin her reputation at school. That's funny to me.
Yeah.
But when it's like, oh, careful, there's a bee, and then I got my super amazing sword that can cut through anything, and I cut the school, like, that's not funny to me.
No, it feels played out every fucking time it happens.
It really does.
And it's literally 6 chapters in. And I tell you what, like what we were saying before about trying to get through these chapters, right? I think that's the hardest slog right now, is that every single chapter, like almost on every other page, has this gag in it where he gets tunnel vision and fucks something up.
Yeah, and it's not even like, it doesn't feel like a gag anymore, you know what I mean? Like, because it's just overplayed. He does it so many times a chapter. He does it like 4 to 5 times a chapter, it feels like. And then you just don't care in the end. Yeah,
it's just like, okay, fine. It's a thing. We get the whole premise of it. It just feels like it's really just annoying to get through. There's like, but don't get me wrong though. There's certain parts in this series I actually quite find funny, and one of them is that he's addicted to collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh yeah, that is pretty funny.
It's because obviously he's 10 years old, and like obviously there's that thing right now, like a lot of the kids these days, like in Japan anyway, are still collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, granted, over here it probably isn't as big a thing, but back then it was. But now it just feels like, oh, that's quite a good gag, and they make Yu-Gi-Oh references quite commonly in this, but it doesn't feel played out the way that the other gag does. You know what I mean?
I think those are some of the only things I find funny, is when they make like a reference, like, you know, that one chapter where she was trying out for track and field, and they were talking about Super Monkey Ball for like 4 panels out of 2 pages.
Yeah,
and it was like, wait, but like, it's going to look weird if I'm the only Super Monkey Ball. And he's like, yeah, but you get a speed boost when you get bumped. Or go into mirrors to teleport. And she's like, no, that was the next game. Wait, who the fuck cares? It's like, that stuff is funny.
The references are good. The references are good in this.
Yeah, like that stuff's funny. Or like when the chapter where they're doing the weeding, right? And then, you know, he turns around and he cuts stuff the first time. You know, he scares the teacher, the gym teacher. And then everyone's like, oh, actually, maybe you guys are cool. And then he's like, oh, it's a B. Cuts it down, cuts the school in half. That's not the funny part. It's because then right after that, they're like, actually, they are delinquents. We should just avoid them.
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of thing that I find funny.
Yeah, it's the whole, that's the thing. It's the setup of the gags, which always just feel like, there is good comedy potential in this series. It gets weighed down by the actual concept itself, which kind of sucks.
I don't know. I feel like it's just the volume of this like quick slapstick kind of stuff that is bogging it down too much. I think for me personally, I'd like to see it cut back on some of that. Maybe like expand on some of them, you know, like.
Yeah. I do feel like there's other comedy bits as well, like the quirkiness of it as well. I think, remember that there's that chapter where she meets one of her old friends.
Yeah.
And they just so happen to be at a train station where some guy's releasing his train, but it's just a train with his face on it. and then at the end of it, what was it? Shugomaru attacks the train or something, and he's like, "No, my train!" And it's like literally the train is his face getting punched, basically.
Well, it's the train with his face getting punched, but it's also like the funniest part was his assistants, who, in a very typical sort of Japanese business sense, were like yes men. They're like, yeah. Oh, this train, lovely. Yeah. And then it like gets destroyed, and they're like, yeah, you deserve that. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Like,
yeah, this is like, the thing is, right, I started off like, well, I wanted to hear your opinion on this, and I was ready to slate this manga a lot, right? And because it's one of those ones that it's because of the previously mentioned points, it's real hard to get through. But now that we're talking about it, there are so many good points in this. It's 50% of it is.
I wouldn't even say 50. I'm like,
yeah,
the good does not outweigh the bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing some of the comments as well, I don't know, like, because obviously Shueisha Plus has a comment section at the end of every chapter, and I'm always keen to I read through them a little every now and then just to see people's general opinions on this, especially with the newer manga as well. And currently this isn't doing that well.
I'm not surprised.
It isn't hit. Granted, we're Western fans or whatever. Sometimes there's a lot of people who just want shonen and just want fighting and shit.
Yeah.
So something like Doron Dororon is gonna do better with fans over here because it is your typical shonen. Whereas this has kind of fallen flat with a lot of people. This isn't something that a lot of people are getting behind right now.
I can understand that, but that's because whilst we have handpicked funny moments that we found good, those are literally like maybe one every other chapter.
It's true, yeah.
So far, and that's 6 chapters, right? So that means there's like been about 4 good moments out of 6 chapters, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, there's like, you can pick out certain bits in that, and like, granted, it's like a couple of pages per chapter as well, and the whole concept of the series is granted what lets it down at the end of the day, because it just doesn't execute it that well, in my opinion. Again, like, we're just like people reviewing internet. Like, I'm pretty sure like they're better than us at coming up with these manga things. Like,
Yeah.
the drawing, granted, the art style is very, like, it's not the most detailed art style, but it's
I like
quite
the
funny.
art
It
style.
complements the comedy.
Yeah, it does, because it's like it's weirdly simple.
Yeah, and that's what you kind of want. It's like kind of like that. I don't want to say Bobo, because like Bobo had that like sort of like it had its moments with its art where it actually went proper detailed, but it was also very linear, and it wasn't like the most complicated art style with Bobo.
Yeah, but like Bobobo was also a parody. Like, this isn't a parody of something, so like
It's just one of those ones where it has a few good points amongst a lot of other sort of negative points that we have right now.
I think the best way that I can describe it, at least from my standpoint, is this manga feels like the equivalent of a kids show, where we're just probably a bit too old for it. Because
possibly, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Like an actual like kids cartoon is got like the educational factor, like, to me this is kind of like watching, I don't know, I don't even want to say, because it's like slating something I actually like, but like this is kind of like watching a modern Tom and Jerry, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of slapstick and it's like, haha, yeah, that's kind of funny, but not really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like
I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to. There's like, obviously this is very like, there is a story per chapter and there is a beginning, middle, and end. It's not like it doesn't have any story in it either.
Again, this to me, this was like at the start. I was comparing it to Witch Watch, because it's sort of like situational, but I feel like Witch Watch is just pulling it off better.
Witch Watch like, the thing is, Witch Watch has those references and it has certain points in it where you do genuinely laugh out loud, whereas this one, I can find things funny in it, but I would never laugh out loud now. I think I can appreciate the humor, but I'd never be.
I think it's just because Witch Watch, the characters, even the side characters, are just a stronger personality than what we have. Because like the side characters are the girl who just knows lots of facts. She knows lots of random facts. The guy who's a playboy.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That guy sucks. Like, I think that was the most boring chapter out of all of them. I like literally.
The only good part about that chapter was when they were making that Ninja Warrior gag, and it was just the walls coming down.
Oh yeah.
But that's because I was also a fan of Ninja Warrior way back when. I used to watch that a lot, right? So like I kind of got the gag, but if you don't know, then you're just sort of like, okay.
Exactly. There's certain bits of it you're just like, okay. But yeah, in short, with Shugomaru, I mean, it's hard for me to say, yeah, go check it out. I mean, obviously go check it out and form your own opinion on it at the end of the day. But in my opinion, I don't feel like when another chapter comes out, I'm not going to be like, oh, I've got to read that. I think I'll just, even if I tried to read, I'll probably get a couple pages in and be like, okay, I'm just bored now.
I think I'm going to try, right? Because if the, what's that other series that came out like a year ago? Magu-chan or something,
See, I started reading Magu-chan actually, because honestly, I think that's a better comedy series. I really enjoyed that. I just dropped off it, but...
Yeah, but I mean, like, I didn't like that series, and now that I think about it, it's kind of the same thing. Like, it's a weird situational comedy kind of thing. If Magu-chan can exist to this day and like continued, right, I don't see why Shugomaru can't. But Shugomaru's got a lot of work to do, right?
Yeah,
because right now it is just a slog, and I will try to keep up with it, but at some point I can easily see myself just dropping off and not caring.
Yeah, there's another comedy series in Jump currently running right now. It's one of those ones where it only has about 7 to 10 pages in it. It's called High School Family. I don't know if you read that.
I haven't read that.
You didn't read that?
Nah.
That's it's quite a quirky sort of one where it's like this guy starts high school, but his whole family join in with him. So his mum, his dad, his little sister, and his cat are all basically like in the same school together, and it's wacky humor.
Oh, okay.
But I still found that quite funny, and I did want to keep up with it, but there's a point where I just dropped off a lot of manga, and Magu-chan, High School Family were ones that I just didn't continue because I need to pick it back up again. I'd happily pick it back up again, but I feel like with Shugomaru, if I was in that same sort of point, I don't think I would. This is the problem that I have right now. But Shugomaru has a lot of competition as well in Jump with those two comedy series. Whether it sticks around or not, I don't know. I don't know how well it'll do. It's still early days, 6 chapters in so far. It might pick up and people might absolutely love it. There's also Roboco as well.
Oh, I didn't like that either.
You didn't like that, but it stuck around for quite a bit. And it is probably the most popular comedy one in Jump right now, actually.
At the start of the episode, this is what I was saying when you was like, oh, we've read enough, we should be pretty good at this, right? Apparently not, because that's 2 series I said I don't like, and they're still there. So what do I know?
Well, Nathan, it's clearly because you're not reading them. That's why. That's why they're surviving. If you were reading them, then yeah, they probably would get cancelled. This is the curse of Nathan reading manga.
That's a fair point. Okay, I'll give you that. I didn't even finish the first chapter of both of those. I could not get through them.
But I don't think I actually gave Roboco that much of a chance, really. I don't think I finished the first chapter of it at all. Maybe I will give it a shot and see what I like. Because I don't know, I liked Magu-chan. You didn't like Roboco, so maybe it's a thing. I might like it.
Yeah, maybe you will. But from the sounds of it, neither of us really want to recommend Protect Me Shugomaru, but don't just take our word for it. Go out, have a look.
Form your own opinion, and yeah.
Maybe you'll like it. It's not for me and Pepe, but doesn't mean it won't be for you. And try out some of these other series we said. Again, just because I don't like it, Pepe likes some of them. You know, like you might like some of these. So yeah, we are just here to recommend. I guess, you know, like we're just here to.
It's just a review at the end of the day. We're not telling you exactly what to do, and that's all it is. This is the manga review. We look at the manga, we read it, we form our opinion, we come back, discuss, and then you listen. Sometimes you don't listen. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine to not like things. That's all it is. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't listen to us either. Like, why would I? 2 random guys on the internet. What do they know? Nothing really, but
we're just like we have like some opinions on stuff, and that's all we can give.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all it is. Don't ever come to Cultured Boys for hard information or facts.
Oh yeah,
Granted, you're not gonna find many of them.
The hardest facts you'll get is mangaka names, publishing dates, character names, and the story. That's it. That's as far as we go.
You might get some like little interesting bits of information here or there, like, hey, did you know this? And you're like, oh, I did not know this. And then you go away with like a little, hopefully you come away with a bit of information you didn't know before.
That's all we can hope, because that's about as much research as we've done.
Right. Okay, cool. On that note, I feel like it's probably time to
Yep. Self-deprecation aside, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notified when our next videos come out. And don't forget to check us on podcast platforms. We have the links in the description below. And that's it from me. Bye, guys.
Nice one. See ya.